Hi, I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. You know, you can't be scared out there, homie. Don't be scared. The fact of the matter is you entering the world of investing in whatever avenue you choose to take, whether that's the stock market, the bond market, whether you get into real estate, whether you take your chances with a small business of your own, whether you get into a little bit of a mixed bag of everything, you are going to find yourself making a lot of mistakes. You are going to make a lot of mistakes, and there is going to be a threshold to those mistakes that you are going to have to push through, because if you think you are going to come into, it doesn't make a difference what marketplace, and dominate just end over end, every experience that you have is going to end up perfectly for you. You're kidding yourself. And let this be a wake-up call long before we get into it, whether you have a small account of $1,000 or you're out there taking risks with millions of dollars of venture capital money. It doesn't make a difference. There are going to be mistakes, and you are going to have to eat those mistakes. Let's think about them on a case of a retail trader, though. It's much smaller than somebody out there playing with millions of dollars. You're still going to have to expect that there are going to be a lot of bad trades mixed in. I mean, it's going to happen. If you're doing 65% good trades, your good trades are probably going to end up becoming good enough that you're going to ride them to much bigger gains than you're going to ride your bad trades to losses. But you're still going to find yourself with losses mixed in there. There's no doubt about it. Expect 35, 40% losses on your good years. That's going to happen. But the losses should be mitigated. One, they're going to be mitigated by the fact that you are well educated. Education is something that I hammer down on this channel consistently. And education is going to come through the fact that you are not only consistent, you remain emotionless to whatever you happen to be trading in. It doesn't make a difference how that company makes you feel, where your attachment is to it, how long you've owned it, how you felt something was going to work. If things end up making a turn for the worse, you're educated enough, you've done your due diligence the way that you're supposed to do it through the information gathering process and through experience, the experience you have of being out there and doing this, implementing these practices over and over again, you're going to know when a trade has changed. Why has it changed? We don't know. We don't know why it changed. But the fact of the matter is that things are going to change, and you are going to have to be able to react quickly. Like, I'm not saying to overreact. We don't want anybody out there involved in a trade that sees things go a little bit wrong and they decide to jump ship because they hear me talking about you need to react quickly. No, you need to be able to understand the difference between markets going through ebbs and flows. That's going to happen. We're going to see that every day, interday. Things move around. Sometimes things move around for no reason. The market's very bipolar. We understand that. So we're not going to overreact. You've looked into things. You've done your due diligence. You've done all the fundamental work. You like this company for whatever reason it is, based on every different facet of research you can do, from the way that company operates, the markets that it's in, the sector that it's in, the other companies that it does business with, the way it ships or services its product, whatever it happens to be. And trust me, it's a robust amount of education you're going to need for just about any company you're looking into. No matter how simple the company seems on the surface, to get down to the brass tacks of investing your actual money, you're going to be doing the research. So we're saying you've done the research. Things have changed. When things have changed, you're not overreacting. Things have actually changed from the research you originally did. The fundamentals change. There was an unforeseen circumstances. You need to learn when to get out of it and then eat it. Own it. You know what? The hardest thing to do in trading is pressing the buy button to actually make the initial purchase. That's, especially when you're first getting started, it's a lot. The pressure is on that you aren't sure what you are getting yourself into, if you're making the right choices, period, in life. You start questioning everything, religion, the whole 9 yards. You're sitting there looking at a buy button going, I have no idea. I really thought I was ready for this. A lot of people, though, maybe they can get over that hump quickly. I don't find it too challenging. I don't find the risk of making an educated decision to be something that I find too overwhelming. Some people might find it that way. You're going to get over that through experience. The thing that's going to really bite a lot of people in the ass, though, is going to be when things go south. Things don't go right for you, then you get shook, and you sometimes don't know how to handle that because you can take a couple losses in a row and it really starts to beat down your confidence. We've talked about confidence. That's a must. You are going to have to feel good about the way you're doing things and knowing you're doing things correctly so that you're not really sweating yourself when things go wrong, because ultimately they go wrong. So some unforeseen stuff happened. You had to get out of this. You had the balls to press the buy button. You were smart enough to sell watching fundamentals change on something that you thought was one thing and then it ended up being something else. You need to be able to right the ship and right the ship quickly, because that's just the way things work. And last but not least, you're going to have to breathe. This is a long process. This is going to happen over hundreds and hundreds of trades. If we're talking about a trader, which ultimately that's what this channel is, we could get into any type of investment vehicle that you want to talk about, but ultimately a lot of my examples are going to be based on a trader and a retail trader at that. So you're going to be doing this for a long period of time. You're going to be spending a lot of your time doing this over many, many years. There's going to be hundreds, if not thousands of trades that take place. Don't become overinvested in it. Don't think that this reflects on you and the way that you're going to perform if you know that you're doing the right work. And only you're going to know that, because you're going to have to set out the parameters for yourself of what you deem to be the most important, because ultimately, like we've discussed before, there is no crystal ball here. Nobody can tell the future. I'm not going to be able to give you the exact layout of what things look like tomorrow. I can give you a best case example based on research of how I see things playing out for a company or a sector going into the future. But the ability to be able to see things is something you can't put on your shoulders. So when things go wrong, knowing that you've done your work properly, breathe. Cut yourself some slack. Realize that wrong choices are going to be made, and it's you knowing the difference between overreacting and cutting when it's time to cut bait and run on a trade that has changed the way that you would fundamentally look at it if you were to get into it that day. Don't get overly emotional. Don't get tied to something. Don't let something run your account all the way to the ground because you're just like, it's going to turn itself. Look, if it right now that day wasn't, if you're not thinking, you know what, when it's going down, I'm thinking dollar cost averaging and buying it on the way down. If you're not thinking that, if you're thinking, it's going to turn around, I think it's going to turn around, you're in the wrong trade and you know it. So if you're doing the right research, then you need to give yourself a little bit of credit and realize that everyone at all times is going to have a couple of bad trades in the account that just don't seem to be working. As long as you're cognizant enough to know when it's time to get out and that you did the right homework so that you don't feel like a doughhead when you end up being down 10% in a trade you had to get out of, then hey, you win some and you lose some. I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. If you haven't already, subscribe button, notification bell, thumbs up for this video, thumbs up for all videos, and you guys leave some comments. Let us know what you think about, life and stuff and how things are going, and have yourself an excellent rest of the day.